Welcome to another episode of I'm Dying to Tell You. This is Dr. Mark Goulston, living a shorter life than I thought I had some years ago. And I hope I'm coherent today because I came back to my office to record this after a pretty long day at home. And I emailed my oncology and hematology team. I said, I forgot to tell you that I'm tired all the time, and it could be this illness I have, but I'm not sleeping much. What I didn't tell them is I'm not sleeping much because after 2.5 to 3 hours, I wake up in the middle of the night and I come up with some more of these crazy episodes. And I had one last night, and I want to share that with you. And this episode is called Parenta Culpa. Parenta Culpa. Parenta culpa, like mea culpa, except it's parenta culpa. And I've actually been sharing it and suggesting it to parents as a way to maybe get through to some of their stubborn, rebellious teenagers, young adults. And what I was realizing is that when teenagers or young adults act that way, they kind of trigger parents not into being disappointed. They trigger parents into being worried. A lot of times these teenagers and young adults, they think their parents are trying to control their lives and their parents are trying to be judgmental. And some parents are. Some parents do live through their kids. But I find that the majority of parents are not disappointed in their children because they love their children. What they are is worried about their children. And that when they're worried, they're a little bit anxious. That anxiety kind of pushes up against their children, and it's kind of a mess. So one of the things that I've been suggesting to parents, and they're trying it, and it's actually working, is if you want your child to start to take personal responsibility for their actions, if you want them to be accountable, if you want them to be able to own up to mistakes, as a parent, you may need to go first. You may need to model it. So this may not work for all families, but if it sounds like yours, give it a try. What it looks like is when you're having a casual meeting with a teenager, if they can ever be casual, or a young adult, what you say to them is, we'd like your help with something. You know that we think you're having a lot of issues. What is it that we have done, or what is it that we have failed to do, or what is it that we could get a lot better at that is contributing to those issues? And they're going to say, what? Yeah, we stopped and kind of looked at us through your shoes. And we thought, even if we have good intentions, by the time they land on you, they can really be backfiring. So what is it that we have done or failed to do or could do a better job of so that we don't contribute to those issues? So can you tell us? And no matter what they bring up, you may not even remember it. You agree with their perspective because that's what they live. And when they tell you what it is, not only agree with it, but seeing it from their point of view, what you want to do is get them to get it all off their chest. And you want to be able to take the hit from whatever they say, because you'd much rather take the hit than have them continue to act out. So when they say, well, there was this incident when you did this, which you can't even remember, or when I brought these things up to you, I told you these things, this is how you reacted. What you want to say is, give us some examples of that. And when they say it, you go, whoa, what was that like for you? and you're wanting them to get it off their chest. And again, you don't defend yourself. And you say, give us a couple more examples. Give us an example of us at our worst, either by doing something or not doing something we should have. Wow. And how do you think that's contributing to, I don't know, how you feel about yourself, how you feel about life, just how you feel about anything? And then what you say to them is, I'm sorry. We didn't know that. We rationalized it was just the phase you were going through, because to be honest, it doesn't surprise us what you're telling us. We not only didn't know it, we didn't want to know it because we didn't know how to handle it. Because our mode is to give you advice that you don't want if you're not asking for it. And we do that all the time. And so we didn't even want to know how badly you were feeling. And that was wrong. And we were wrong. And we're sorry. We can't say we'll be perfect, but we want you to open up to us more about anything. Because we don't want you to feel alone in this pain. And we don't want to run away from it anymore. Because we love you. Now you might be thinking, well, what would that do? Well, you're modeling taking responsibility for something. You're modeling not being defensive. You're modeling being contrite. You're modeling showing how it pains you, the pain you caused for them. And if you're fortunate, it'll be a little bit awkward, and they'll say, well, okay, well, thank you. Sometimes they may even cry with relief on the spot, but in all likelihood, they're going to feel awkward. And you let that happen and let it sink in. Because I think when you model taking responsibilities for your actions or your failures to act, you're modeling for them how they can start to take responsibility for where they've failed, where they've made mistakes. So take that in. If you're listening to this as a couple parents, you may want to listen to it together, because one or the other one of you are going to say, he really was sleep deprived. That was a bunch of psychobabble. But I think hopefully there was something in there that you can use, and you might be able to use it to get through to your kid who you love. Until next time, take good care.